What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to the universe. Welcome to the My Hero Academia Season 5 review, where today we're going to discuss episode 99, our Brawl. I'm John Kearns, joined today by only one other person, Kayla Nash.
Hey!
Alright, so, episode 99. First of all, overall thoughts.
I really liked this episode. I thought it was really good team-wise, and it gave you insight that Shinsuke actually wants to become. He wants to become that hero. He wants to grow and learn and just keep building. He realizes what the hero course actually is by fighting Deku.
Yeah. My overall thoughts, it was another stellar episode, in my opinion. I feel like ever since the episode where we talked about some of the problems we've had with this season so far, those problems have all sort of alleviated.
Yeah.
There's not so much flashback anymore. There's not so much reiterating of what this test was over and over and over and over again. Like, so I would say we have probably another contender for best episode of the season so far.
Honestly.
So it starts with, we got a little bit of a flashback to the previous episode where Shinsuke brainwashes Deku in order to stop his quirk from going out of control. And we see the one vestige explain the power again. And we cut back to present day where Deku says to Uraraka, I need you to do me a favor. And then it cuts to Deku using the zero gravity to sneak up on Shinsuke.
Yeah.
So that's where the fight really starts. And it is an awesome fight.
Yeah.
I mean, they had the music, and I want to say they had the same music from their fight at the sports festival, which was a nice touch. And there was a lot of great dialogue between, from Shinsuke specifically, because Deku, knowing Shinsuke's power, is not responding.
Yeah.
Let me see if I can find some of the stuff he says while you talk.
And I thought it was cool that Shinsuke was like, I need to show him how my quirk works, show him that I know how to use the ropes. And because he knows that he can't take Deku in a one-on-one battle.
Yeah.
He's like, I'll show my quirk, I'll show how I use it, how I'm learning, how I'm growing. And I thought that was really cool in his character growth. And I thought it was cool too, and Shinsuke made those things fall, and Deku used the power that he wasn't controlling to stop that from hurting him.
Yeah, it was really cool. Seeing Deku saying to himself, I'm not afraid of this power anymore. Control your heart, using the teachings that that one vestige guy gave to him.
And then him realizing that he needs to master one for all in order to master all of them.
Yeah, because
100% of the time, but that could be a secret power that he has or a secret move that he can do, but he has to control one for all first.
Right, because as soon as he's able to use the power, it kind of goes away by itself. And when the power goes away, it cuts to Vlad, Midnight, All Might, and Izawa watching the match.
Yeah.
And Izawa says, it's gone. And I was like, in my head, I'm like, well, what'd you do that for? But then you notice that his eyes aren't red, his hair's not up. It wasn't him.
Yeah.
I really thought it was at first.
Mm-hmm. And even Shinsuke was like, "Oh, you said that you didn't know how to control it. Like, were you bluffing the entire time?
Yeah.
You're like they thinking he was lying."
And Deku's
And
like,
then
no, I'm actually terrified right now.
he's like, "No, I actually have no clue what's happening."
Yeah. So, we kind of glanced over the one flashback that we did get, where we see Izawa training Shinsuke.
Yes.
So, can you talk about that a little bit?
I love that scene, actually. I thought it was really cool because, like, looking at Eraserhead, he's all... You would take him as, like, face value as being tough, like, closed off. But him being able to teach Shinsuke how to use his
Binding
cloth was actually interesting. And he's like, "Oh, well, it took you 6 years." Shinsuke tells Izawa, "It took you 6 years to master everything. Like, I'm not going to be able to master this or do this." And Izawa went, "I did it from nothing."
Yeah.
So you have somebody teaching you how to use the binding cloths. It's going to be easier. You just have to practice.
Yeah. And it's really cool and a little heartwarming seeing Izawa act this way.
Yes.
Because Izawa's a business guy. Always business, always by the book. Like, always the first one to tell the kids when they should and shouldn't be involved. So it's really cool that he seems to be putting so much work into getting Shinsuke on the level that he needs to be at, which is, in my opinion, providing some grounding for the theory that Shinsuke is somehow related to Eraserhead.
Yes, but he also said that people with quirks like ours, if we don't have these, like, binding cloths,
I'm interested in what he meant by that.
We will die.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I mean, you're not wrong. All you have is you can erase the quirk, but as soon as you blink, it's gone. You can brainwash somebody, but how long can you actually keep them under your brainwashing control? Like, you need something else.
Yeah, so it seems like, he was talking about people that rely on the use of support items.
Yes.
So, I think in that way, you could kind of lump Midoriya in with that as well.
Yes, you really
because his shoes are a support item. His gloves are a support item. His almost every part of his costume is in some way a support item.
Yeah, so he doesn't break his limbs.
Yeah.
And I thought it was interesting how when Monomer tried to take One for All, Deku freaked out. He's like, "That's dangerous. Like, you can't take it." Because when
I still think Araka was onto something with that was a bluff. I think Araka was onto something. But, like, exactly what you're talking about. It really showed the type of person Midoriya is.
Yes. Even when he was going after Deku is what I would believe One for All wanted in anything.
Exactly.
That pure, honest hero.
And I think that's exactly what we're seeing, and that's exactly what One for All even said to him in that dream. Well, no, he didn't say it. That other vestige guy did.
Yeah, and that's why we're seeing all the different vestiges coming out in Deku, because One for All is like, this is it. He is what I wanted in the beginning.
Yeah, it definitely, you definitely get the sense that they're all doing this at the request of the little brother.
Yes.
Yeah. Like, this is the guy. This is the one. He's it.
Like, we're going to help him as best as we can. And I liked how Bakugo, when everything was happening with Deku, had a look of concern. Just a little bit. I mean, his face is always the same. But it looked like he was really concerned what was happening.
Yeah, when he started using that new power, Bakugo was paying very close attention.
Yes.
Because, and that even goes into what we got a couple weeks ago, when Bakugo rolled up on All Might and Deku and was like, "What the hell are you guys doing?
Like, stop cutting me out. Like, I know the secret. I want to help in the ways that I can help, so stop cutting me out."
Like, something is clearly happening. What's happening?
Yes.
What's happening? So, yeah, man, that fight with Shinsuke and Deku was really good.
It was awesome, and
Yeah.
the fact that Izawa let it continue was also amazing too. Because All Might's like, "What are you doing? We have to stop this." And he's like, "Well, Midoriya is fine. Like, he got it under control. He's okay. Let's see how this match continues." Like, they all.
Yeah, he even said he's not acting like he was before.
Yeah, like, he's like, they still want to go. They still have that winning mentality. I'm right here if anything goes wrong, but from here on out, like, we're just gonna let it play out and see how it goes.
Right. So let's veer off from the main attraction for just a second and talk about the other people in this match, because we got to see some pretty wild shit.
We really did.
We saw multiple new moves from multiple people in this match. So, go ahead.
I love Mineta. I loved Mineta from the beginning. But watching Mineta be able to control his, like, little grape balls and then he gave me Gran Torino, like,
oh yeah,
vibe when he was
Gran Torino
bouncing
vibes
on, like, his little, like, grape balls. And then his, like, armor
and he had
shield.
like a shield, yeah.
Yeah, that was so cool.
Yeah, Mineta made a shield out of his sticky balls, or whatever they're fucking called.
Yeah, it was really cool.
We got some new stuff from Ashido as well.
We did.
We finally got to see some close combat from Ashido, because she straight up punched dude in the fucking mouth. Like, there's no other way to say that.
No, dude,
she
did
socked
not
this
back
dude.
down at all.
Like, there was no quirk involved in that.
No.
In that punch.
And I like the friendship between Ashido and Mineta.
Yeah, it's really blossomed a lot.
Like, I didn't know I needed it until I saw it. I was like, oh, I love that.
It was really funny when Mineta talked about how much of that move was planned, right up to him getting squished into Ashido's boobs.
Yeah.
And Ashido was like, "You having a good time?" and just threw him.
And then just threw it. Yeah, I love that. Even when they panned their classmates, and was it Kirishima? I was like, wow, they actually really had that planned out. Like, that was a really good move.
Yeah.
I didn't see that coming. That's the one thing 1A has on 1D, is that they're very good at working together as a team. Even if, like, 1A knew going in that Deku was going to be the main attraction. So they're like, let's put the focus on Uraka, Mineta, and Ashido and see what they can do.
Yeah.
And I thought that was amazing. Even when Deku went against Shinsho himself, he told Uraka to go find Ashido and Mineta and help them. I'm okay, I'll be fine.
And I'll tell you what, man, you really see a lot of the trust that Uraka has in Deku. Yes. And a lot of the trust that Uraka really has in everyone in Class 1A, because she was able to showcase a lot of her talent as well. And I think Uraka is a very good fighter.
She is.
Like,
she's so
crazy good. She's still using those martial arts moves that she learned in her internship.
And I love it, because in the beginning she was so unsure of herself.
And, like, very timid, yeah.
Yes, but now looking at her, like, the trust she has in Deku, the trust she has in herself, the trust she has in her teammates, the trust she has in her power. It's just amazing to see how far she's actually come.
Yeah, and she's a very smart combatant.
Yes.
Like, crazy. It's really wild how much they've all progressed.
Yeah. You never really see it until you get these, like, one-on-one battles, and you're like, wait a minute. Her Season 1 was
we talked about that with Ojiro, too. Like, when the minute you got to see him one-on-one, you're like, God damn, this guy could be in the UFC. Like, holy crap.
Even Mineta, the beginning, Mineta was, like, the creepy pervy
Nobody would have ever expected what we got out of Mineta today.
I didn't. I saw it and I was like, okay, I loved you from the beginning, but this just made me love you even more.
But you're actually doing stuff now.
I actually saw 2 different moves that I've never seen before.
He even used some of his like pop-off balls. He used them as, like, his handcuffs to keep that one other Class B person out of the picture while they captured everybody else. Yeah. Like, he's doing good stuff.
They all are.
Yeah.
And that's what I liked about the battles. Even though some of them were a little, like, not as action-packed, it showcased each individual honing their skills, learning how to use their different skills, learning together to work as a team, and like showing different aspects of each character.
Yeah. So, yeah, definitely. So, if we go back to Deku and Shinsuke for a minute, we got, I'd say, essentially a monologue from Shinsuke during this fight about how, and when Deku, like, finally catches up to him and has him on the ground, you start seeing, like, flashes of the other matches, even. And Shinsuke's talking about, I was looking forward to this. And, like, we get sort of a rehash of his "so this is the hero course" speech, but more in depth here, because he talks about how much work he has to do. And that's a running theme with Shinsuke, is talking about how much more work he has to do and how much faster he has to move and how much further ahead everyone else is.
And that's where him and Deku are alike.
Yeah.
Because like you look at Deku and he's saying the same things, like, I have to be quicker, I have to be better, I have to do this, I have to do that. And that's why I think those two would be better on a team together, because they're always learning to work and grow and hone their skills better.
Yeah. So, Monoma is the first captured of Class 1B.
Yes.
And we got a very interesting, well, again, a monologue, but like, everything Monoma does is monologues. A monologue. There you go.
A monologue.
Make that a t-shirt. So he talks about how he said, my quirk is copy. I'm not destined to be a protagonist.
But I want to make myself the like, I will outshine all the protagonists out there and everything like that. And I thought it was And I thought it was smart that Uraka wasn't talking, because she thought that he copied the brainwashing quirk.
Yeah.
And I thought that was like, that's really smart for her to be like, I'm just gonna keep it safe. I'm not gonna say anything. But I see Monomer becoming a villain. If not becoming one, already is one. I
mean, he's like, and we've talked about this before with how some of the quirks seem villainous and some of the names seem villainous. But Monoma is a villain.
There's no doubt in my mind. Like, out of everybody, you thought Bakugo was going to be the villain, but no, Monomer is definitely the villain.
Like,
even when he was,
and I can see how people would say Bakugo is villainous, but Bakugo, we've seen, I guess recently, but all throughout the series, he is over the top, he is very aggressive, but he still has those hero qualities, and he still desperately wants to be a hero.
Yeah.
If he didn't, he wouldn't have broken out of the League of Villains like he did.
He would have just been like, okay, let's do this.
Monoma has so many villain like mannerisms and a villainous look. Because,
and even the way he thinks is villainous.
And you see Bakugo and you go, okay, this guy could be a villain because he's really loud and really obnoxious and rude and mean. But Monoma reminds me a lot. Monoma is like a combination of the Joker and the Riddler.
Yeah.
In many ways. Like, the Riddler is the, like, slow monologues and the really, like, cerebral thinking, whereas the Joker shines through in those random outbursts that he has.
Yeah.
But, like, that speech really made me think, because he goes, I'm not destined to be a protagonist, but in every story there are side characters that outshine the protagonists. So when he's captured, he's talking about how he says to Uraka, you think I can store 3 quirks because I have 3 clocks. But how do you know that I can't go up to 4 now? And he's like, and I can't use more than 1 quirk at a time, but sometimes the effects of previous quirks linger. Even after and he explains it using the Grow quirk and the Phantom quirk. And the Poltergeist quirk. Where he made he made like a nut big, and then switched to the Poltergeist quirk, but the nut stayed big.
Yeah.
So
and he also said that his time grew from 5 minutes to 10 minutes.
Yeah. And then he said, "You see what I'm saying, right? I'm talking about fire." And Uraka's like, thinks about it for a second, but quickly realizes that he's just bullshitting, or thinks that he's just bullshitting, and just throws him in. And right before the door closes on the prison, Monoma says, "A last-ditch effort from a side character."
Yeah.
Because he's so super not villainous at all.
Right?
It's such villain stuff. Like, it's crazy.
Yeah. But it also would make sense that Monoma, if he were to become a villain, was the villain, because how does the League of Villains always know when 1A is doing something off campus or by themselves?
And who has a weird freaking obsession with Class 1A?
Exactly. Everybody, I know that whole people really thought that it was a teacher who was leaking information to the League of Villains, but what if it's actually a student? What if it is Monoma?
Yeah. So we see that Monoma was not bluffing.
Yeah.
Because Monoma is still watching the match from the jail cell, which, obviously, I mean, if you're in there, you're going to watch. So we see Deku use the one-for-all dash that he does, and he's flying at Shinso, and Monoma very quietly says, "Fire." And then something from somewhere hits Deku in the face.
Yeah.
And so that's already a total cheat.
Yes.
100%.
100%.
And we even get a little bit of that at the end with the Jesus Freak girl, which was very funny. So that thing hits Deku, and Shinso even looks confused by it, and then says, "Wait, Monoma?" So talk about that for a little bit, because I'm late.
Yeah. But Shinso, he was like, "Wait a minute. I was told to take care of Deku. I was told that he would be my main focus, but in a way, Monoma still came in and was like, nope, it's my show. You're just a side character. I'm the main event."
Yeah.
And even Shinso looked concerned when Deku got hit. He was gonna just try to save Deku instead of just letting him fall.
Yeah.
Which I, again, say that is amazing hero qualities in a person.
So we all know that Monoma is obsessed with Class 1A, but I still think he has an extra weird obsession with Midoriya.
Yes.
And with harming Midoriya.
Yes.
Or just causing him general discomfort in whatever way he can.
Yeah.
So that was interesting, but Deku shakes it off, and we get that climax that we talked about with everybody in Class 1A, or with everybody in Class B, except for that one person who, I can't remember who it is, but it's the one who looks like a Pokemon trainer. And they get put in prison, so Class 1A wins the match and wins the whole Class B versus Class A battle.
Yes.
Smash cut to after the match, they're going over the critiques. And Midnight announces the winners of the matches because Mr. Vlad has been removed from commentary.
And she's giving an
unbiased commentary. So Mr. Vlad is removed from commentary at the end. So
I know. Thanks, Midnight.
So match 1, Class A, match 2, Class B, match 3, draw, match 4, Class A, match 5, Class A. Class A wins. Yay. Exactly what we thought would happen.
Yeah.
So the last thing we're going to talk about here is the critiques, because they were interesting as well.
They really were. I liked how when Izawa asked Midoriya, he's like, "What happened?"
Well, yeah, because Izawa immediately singled out Midoriya.
Yeah, he's like, "Let's just start here." Like, Midoriya, what happened?
Yeah.
And Deku's like, "I don't know what happened. I'm just so grateful that Uraka and Shinso were able to help me. Like, I don't know what would have happened if they weren't there. Don't know what happens if I wasn't able to stop this. So thank you so much." And you see Shinso go, "Oh, he wasn't bluffing. He actually really did not know what was happening." And then Midnight told Uraka, she's like, "It was so great to see you just, like, not care, like, go after." And she becomes beat red. She's like, just...
Well, because of Ashino.
Like, I love
Ashino's like, "Yeah, you hugged him hard, huh?" And she, like...
little finger thing.
Oh, she was doing it crazy. She was going all over the place. All over the place.
But Midnight, like, it was nice to see, like, you just caring about your friends and their safety more than your own, and that what makes a great hero. And then
with that, we get a flashback to after the fight to save Eri.
Yes.
When where they talk about it. Well, it cuts back to the scene with Izawa with Ashino and Uraka right after Sir Night-Eye passes away.
Yes.
When Izawa says to her, "You need to think of this. You need to think about if this is what you want to do, if this is what you want your future to be." Basically telling her this isn't the last time this is going to happen to you.
Yeah.
And
him telling her
when he says, and when he says, "What do you want?" she says, "I want to save people." And when we cut back to present day, Izawa says, "Uraka, you've matured."
Oh, I love that.
And then she, like, gets all, like, coy and shy again.
Mm-hmm.
And then he moves on to Shinso. Where Shinso, again, I have so much more to do. I wasn't able to do anything on my own. Blah, blah, blah. And Izawa, while he's talking,
was basically like, "Stop it. Like, yeah, we know you have a lot of work to do, but in the end, you did what a true hero does, and you saved somebody who was in trouble." That's, we're all learning, we're all growing, we're all, like, you pass this course, you pass, like, it's a work in progress, like, you're still a student, but always maintain that plus ultra mindset, and you will
maintain the plus ultra mindset. And he says to all the students, and it's really cool because we've seen Class B pay attention to only Mr. Vlad before, but when Izawa was speaking here, everyone paid attention.
Yeah.
And it really shows the respect that everyone in that school has for Izawa.
Yeah.
And I think it's really interesting because he really seems to be the most respected faculty member at UA. Other than Principal Nezu. But, because everybody really pays attention to him and really listens to what he says.
He even compared Shinso to All Might. He said that quality that you had trying to save everybody is a very good quality, just like is the same quality All Might has.
Yeah.
So that's a huge compliment to give
he even says, like, for all of you to pass this with flying colors, you would all have to basically be All Might.
Yeah.
Like, and that's instilling a philosophy that I have, which is where you can't be afraid of failure.
Yeah.
You have to use failure as a learning opportunity and as a chance to get better.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
you have to learn from your mistakes,
yeah,
so you can be better. Just like in everyday life, like he's giving good information because, like in life, you fail, but you have to keep going to succeed to where you want to be.
And in a lot of ways, I think one of the only ways to not fail is to fail. Like, you have to fail before you cannot fail. You know what I mean?
Exactly, yeah. It doesn't matter how many times you get knocked down. It matters how many times you pick yourself up.
Right. So, yeah, I mean, this episode was stellar.
Yeah.
So, before we get out of here, let's talk about the preview. I want you to go over the preview.
I'm so excited to see Aerie and Lemillion.
We're getting some Aerie and Lemillion content next week.
I'm so excited. And you see Bakugo and Deku and All Might sit down and talk about what happened at the match. He tells them that there's 6 other messages that are going to come through. I don't know what's going to happen. Then I'm trying to think what else happens in the preview. I really think that's it. Like, you see a little glimpse of Lemillion and Aerie, but I think it's majority, and a lot of people are starting to see that Deku's power is very much like One for All.
Yeah, and I got a little bit scared when Monoma said it won't activate. And when he said that, I was like, oh, Christ, this is how they're all going to find out. This is how they're going to figure it out.
Mm-hmm.
Because Monoma is 100% going to tell everybody about that.
Yes.
Yes. So, yeah, man. Next week's episode is called The New Power and All for One.
Mm-hmm.
So...
And you see a little snippet of Deku and Todoroki. So maybe... Because even Todoroki, when they were fighting at the sports festival, even said, your power is kind of like All Might's. And Deku's like, no, it's different. It's not the same. Da, 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 da. But they're all smart kids. So I think in some way they all kind of know that it is All Might's power, but also not at the same time, because people can have the same quirks.
Yeah.
So who knows?
Yeah. But yeah, man, next week should be good, and I'm interested to see what this season looks like going forward, because we're officially outside of the first arc of the season.
Yeah. Like, right about now is where, like, the mid-season break would be.
Yeah, where it would be, but we're not getting one. And this totally seemed like a mid-season break episode. But
it did. It really did.
Episode 100 is scheduled for June 12th, which is a week from Saturday. So that's fine.
And I'm excited.
Well, a week from yesterday.
Yeah.
But yeah, we got to talk about... We got to have everybody here for that one, because it's episode 100. So it's going to be a big episode, in my opinion. Or it should be.
Yeah.
So we're getting episode 100 next week. That's
I
crazy, huh?
It's impressive.
It's very impressive. Yeah, there's a lot of animes that don't last this long. I mean, a lot do, but for everyone that lasts this long, there's like hundreds that go one season. You know what I mean?
Yeah, there's a lot of one-season animes.
There's a lot. But yeah, so exciting stuff. We'll come at you next week with our review for episode 100, The New Power, and All for One. So, as always, remember to go beyond
plus ultra.